It's week 3, and there's so much to get into. Welcome to the week 3 edition of the Blitz Zone. My name is Eric Rosen, and I'm coming to you live from the studios of CTV in Staten Island, New York. My co-host tonight, Corey Valdez, will be joining us later in the program. So for the first half hour, you got yours truly, who will take you through the games and all the latest news and everything that's going on around the NFL. It's really a crazy week, but let's get started with some entertainment news. We found out from a report in Variety that Maroon 5, the band that gave us the albums from the Songs About Jane and some other great hits, are going to be doing the halftime show for Super Bowl 53, emanating from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Hotlanta, Georgia. And possibly Cardi B and Travis Scott could be joining Maroon 5 on stage. Adam Levine is probably one of the great entertainers, and of course you always see him on NBC doing The Voice along with Blake Shelton. They've been the two longest continuous judges since the first season of that show, and the other two judges have always changed, but those two have remained the same. I'm looking forward to this performance. I was thinking possibly Taylor Swift was going to do it. Maybe Bon Jovi was going to have the halftime show. Who knows, down the line. But for now, it's going to be Maroon 5. It should be a very fun spectacle of 13 minutes of nonstop heart-pounding entertainment, and along with the other 17 minutes that's devoted to recapping the first half of Super Bowl 53. And, that's the news that's taking place in terms of entertainment. But we also found out this week that a certain cornerback from a team in Buffalo, that's right, the Buffalo Bills, when they had their humiliating loss to the LA Chargers, it was so bad that Vontae Davis, the 10-year veteran cornerback who played most of his career with the Indianapolis Colts, before that he was with the Miami Dolphins, well, he decided to up and leave the Bills at halftime, get dressed, and get out of the parking lot before, it's basically to beat the traffic, basically what the other fans probably wanted to do too, but they just didn't do it fast enough, I guess, at that time. How bad does a team have to be where you have a player that just retires at halftime? I never heard of such a thing in my entire life, but I guess Vontae just couldn't take it anymore, and the team is so thin at cornerback that now they're going to be relying mostly on their practice squad guys. But hey, it's an opportunity to step up and help the team, maybe make a name for yourself, maybe make the big bucks. After all, cornerbacks are one of the most highly paid players besides the quarterbacks in the NFL. So have at it. All right, well, I need some water because, sometimes I talk a lot, maybe too much. And again, that's the whole point of doing this show. I got to talk. Anyway, I'm going to let's get into some week 2 recapping of the NFL, starting with the Arizona Cardinals going from the desert to the Coliseum, taking on the LA Rams. And they enter the arena and they get smacked, beaten, and destroyed 34-0. It was so bad that Todd Gurley only had 47 rushing touchdowns in 42 rushing yards in 3 quarters, had to leave with cramps, and had 3 touchdowns scored on the day and converted 2 extra, 2 two-point conversions. 73 total yards on the day. And what was so agonizing and so nauseating to watch the Cardinals was quarterback Sam Bradford, who was brought in on a 1-year, $20 million deal. He goes up against the team that drafted him in the first round. The only rookie to get a huge at the time got a $52 million guaranteed contract, which he didn't honestly deserve. And he goes 17 of 27 for 90 yards. 17 of 27 for 90 yards. How do you do that? How do you have that many attempts and only get 90 yards out of this is beyond me. David Johnson wasn't even helping at all with his 48 rushing yards, averaging 3.7 a carry. The Cardinals, as a whole team, had 137 total yards on the day. Ever in the first 2 games of the year, they've been outscored 58-6. Steve Wilkes, I know it's your first year, but fix it. Or here's an idea. There's a guy named, suspiciously he has the same last name as me. He's a rookie. He's from UCLA. And his first name is Josh. That's right, Steve. Why don't you start Josh Rosen this week? What are you afraid? What do you have to lose at this point? You can't do any worse. I'm just saying, put me in, coach. Just think about it, Steve, for this coming week. As for the LA Rams, ever since the second half against the Raiders, week 1 on Monday night in that dual Monday night game, they outscored their opponents 57 to nothing. Unbelievable. 57 to 13. Unbelievable. But still, the fact of the matter is they are a really great, 57 nothing. I'm sorry. They are a lights out team. They have an incredibly destructive defensive front. When you think of it, Ndamukong Suh, Aaron McDonald, and Michael Brockers right there. Marcus Peters is one of the best shutdown corners with Aqib Talib. This Rams team is headed for the stars, while the Cardinals are heading for the dumps. The Patriots go to Jacksonville in the rematch of the AFC title game from 2017. That's the game in which the Jaguars had a 20-10 lead heading into the fourth quarter and gave up 2 touchdowns to Tom Brady and miss out on Super Bowl 52. Of course, losing 24-20 in that game. And as I mentioned so many times, Patriots end up losing to the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. This time around, they're in Jacksonville for the 4 o'clock game. Jacksonville, the stadium, has 2 infinity pools on each side. The only stadium in the NFL to have that. That is so awesome. You can enjoy a game in your swim trunks, have a beer, have your nachos, whatever it is that makes you happy, and watch some good old-fashioned football. Well, in this case, the New England Patriots this time against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars came ready to destroy New England this time around, including one of the most highlight reel catches of the day by Keelan Cole. One-on-one assignment from Eric Rowe, the cornerback for the Patriots, and Keelan Cole makes this one-handed grab on this out route, reminiscent of what Odell Beckham did about 4 years ago on Sunday Night Football against Derek Carr and the Dallas Cowboys when he landed in the end zone. The ball just came right here, and he just grabs it. Just grabs it out of the air and is able to maintain control of it. And he still ends up 3 plays later getting a 24-yard touchdown over Eric Rowe. Blake Bortles had one of the best games of his career. 4 touchdowns, 29-45, 377 yards, including the 61-yard crossing route touchdown pass to Dede Westbrook, who, by the way, had a key block from Keelan Cole. On the day, the Patriots end up losing to the Jaguars 31-20. And it was remarkable just to see the Jaguars, as a defense, they're able to cause havoc in so many ways. They sacked Brady twice in the game. They caused him to lose a fumble. And even though Brady had 2 touchdowns, both of which went to Chris Hogan, the fact is the Patriots' defense was terrible. They allowed the Jaguars to convert on 10 of 14 third down opportunities, and they couldn't get to Blake Bortles at all. 0 sacks on the day. So as much as the Jacksonville Jaguars did a great job offensively, it was an indictment on the Pats' defense. Yeah, they lose 31-20. And Jacksonville, being one of the 7 undefeated 2-0 teams. By the way, 3 of those 2-0 teams are from the great state of Florida. Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami. Something is in the water this year. The Vikings and the Packers play each other in a huge NFC North battle. In the beginning, of course, Josh Jackson gets the block punt touchdown for Green Bay. They're up 7-0. Devontae Adams with the 9-yard touchdown grab and the 37-yard Mason Crosby field goal. That's one of the 5 field goals that Mason Crosby had on the day, tying a career high for him. Well, so they go into the half. They're up 17-7. Then another field goal by Crosby, and it's a 40-yarder, making it 27 going into the fourth quarter. So you would think the Vikings are out of this, but Kirk Cousins decided to flip the script a bit. He starts with a 3-yard touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs, then a 75-yard to Diggs with a 2-yard touchdown, with a 2-point conversion to Thaleen, then a 22-yarder to Thaleen, a 75-yard to Diggs, then a 22-yard to Thaleen. Let's set it up. It's 29-21. It's 1st and 10 at the Vikings' own 20. Clay Matthews goes through the gap, able to knock down Kirk Cousins. And what happens? Matthews gets flagged for unnecessary roughness. If you look at the play, honestly, that was a clean hit. But the fact that he was up in the air, unfortunately, and he was dragged to the ground, the refs thought that was unnecessary. That wasn't. Honestly, to me, that was a clean hit what Clay Matthews did. And a few plays later, 22-yard touchdown to Adam Thaleen, the 2-point conversion to Stephon Diggs. It's 29-all. So the game is tied. But Mason Crosby has one opportunity left from 52 yards out at the end of regulation to send the Packers to victory at 2-0 and the Vikings a loss. 52 yards, and usually these are chip shots for Mason Crosby. Hits it wide right. They got to go to overtime. Packers can't do anything, but yet Daniel Carlson, the place kicker for the Vikings, 2 opportunities in overtime, 49 yards, misses. Then, as time is about to expire from 35 yards out, hits wide right, misses the opportunity, and the game ends in a 29-all tie. Well, Carlson, your reward was getting let go, and Dan Bailey being signed this past week by the Vikings. While for Mason Crosby and company, it's just, a tie that they're just going to have to hopefully overcome this season, and that hopefully will not affect them later on when it comes to fighting for the NFC North title. Now, the Eagles, Buccaneers, it's Fitzmagic, whoa. And I probably messed up the rest of those lyrics, but anyway, the magic continued. On the first play of the game, what does Fitzpatrick do? He throws a 75-yard bomb to Deshaun Jackson with one defender guarding him, and he just goes to town. Booyakasha, 7-0 for the Buccaneers to begin the game. Then Corey Clement gets the 15-yard rushing touchdown to tie it all up at 7-all. Then my favorite play, another 75-yard touchdown by Fitzpatrick, this time to O.J. Howard. Gets a short pass, evades 2 defenders going up the left sideline, and Booyaka shot again, 14-7. Eventually, of course, they're up 27-7 in the fourth quarter, and what do the Eagles do? They don't die. No, they try and thrive as best they could, including a J.J. 2-yard touchdown. Then the Nelson Aguilar 2-yard touchdown pass on 4th down. So they're down 27-21. And they're hoping that the Eagles defense can make a stop on the Buccaneers so they can get the ball back with a respectable amount of time and get the victory. Well, Fitzpatrick had other plans in mind, converted a bunch of key first downs, able to basically take all but 18 seconds off the clock. Eagles can't do anything with it, and the Eagles lose 27-21. Fitzpatrick leads them to a 2-0 start. Unbelievable. Like I said, there must be something in the water in Florida because you got 3 2-0 teams. Anyway, the Panthers, Falcons. This is a huge NFC South rivalry we got on our hands. And the Falcons are already down 2 their key defenders, Keanu Neal and Deion Jones. And the backup safety, DeMonte Kazee, gets thrown out of the game for a helmet-to-helmet hit on Cameron Newton, the quarterback for the Panthers, sliding at the end of the run. Why? What is it with players that don't realize when the ball, when it's pretty much over the play, especially when the quarterback is on the ground, why do you have the need to make a hit that's going to end up hurting you and your team? And because he was lucky that him being ejected didn't hurt the team. Well, anyway, going into the game later, Fitzpatrick and the team start off the game with an 8-yard touchdown. Yeah, an 8-yard touchdown pass to Austin Hooper from Matt Ryan. And they go into the second half with a 17-10 lead, the Falcons. Then Matt Ryan begins the second half with a 1-yard quarterback sneak in the third quarter, making it 24-10. Then Torrey Smith gets a 3-yard touchdown pass later on in the fourth quarter, making it 24-17 Falcons. Then here comes the key play of the game that pretty much helped the Falcons win this game. It's 3rd and 5. They're at the Carolina 8. And what does Matt Ryan do? He gets the ball snapped to him. Runs left. Leaps 1, 2, 3 defenders from the Carolina Panthers. Gets in on the 8-yard touchdown, making it 31-17. It's a 2-score game. DJ Moore, the rookie wideout for the Carolina Panthers, gets his first reception of the season and touchdown. A 51-yarder in the fourth quarter, making it 31-24. Falcons can't do anything on the next possession, so the Panthers get the ball back. They eventually are able to go downfield to the Falcon 31. Newton lofts a pass to the end zone for DJ Moore, who's double coveraged, and the ball slips out of his hands as time expires. The Panthers lose to the Falcons 31-24. I love football, man. Do I love. And I like the fact that the Falcons were able to fix their red zone woes that they had week 1 against the Eagles. This time around, they were able to channel it into some big key touchdowns inside the opposing 20. As for the Panthers, they couldn't get a single sack on the day whatsoever, Matt Ryan, and the defense was just not playing to its ability. And where was Christian McCaffrey on the day? Except, other than having dual receptions. Now, Kansas City Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes, second-year quarterback out of Texas Tech. Had a great first game with 4 touchdowns leading them to victory. This time they're going into the Steel City to take on a team coming off a tie. Well, it wasn't a tie this time around, but Patrick Mahomes got a nice 6 touchdowns on the day, tying a franchise record, 2 of which went to the tight end, Travis Kelce, for you fantasy owners who had him, 2 touchdowns, 107 yards. Great day for you, got 109 yards, on 7 receptions. Tyreek Hill, who's basically one of the most evasive punt returners and receivers to lace up a pair of cleats. And Chris Conley, Kareem Hunt, who had over 1,300 yards last year on the ground, can also catch out of the backfield. And Demarcus Robinson. What a dangerous group that Kansas City has. But they had a 21-point lead, and they nearly gave it up. You have to give it up to Pittsburgh for getting 3 touchdowns and Ben Roethlisberger doing what he could in that first half. But at the end of the day, including at the end of the day, getting a leaping 3-yard touchdown run with about 1:59 to go, and they're down 42-37. And the Chiefs are able to run out the clock, get a bunch of first key blocks and 2 runs by Kareem Hunt, and that's it. And Tyler Makovich getting called for roughing the passer. Well, anyway, the Chiefs beat the Steelers 42-37. The Cleveland Browns. Last night, I'll get into last night's game in a bit, but week 2, they're in the Big Easy, and it should have been easy for them, especially for their place kicker, Zane Gonzalez. He left 8 points on the board, missing on 2 key field goals and 2 extra point attempts. And what really bothers me is that Antonio Callaway had a big 47-yard game-tying touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it 18-all. And Will Lutz gets the game winner with 21 seconds from 44 yards out for the Saints. So they're up 21-18. Zane Gonzalez had a chance to send this game to overtime, and he hits 52 yards wide right. Browns lose 21-18. C'est la vie. Yeah, c'est la vie to him, and they brought in the rookie, 4th rounder, and that paid off a lot more. And the losing streak continued after that. Anyway, Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans. Dane Cruikshank got a 66-yard touchdown off a fake punt to Kevin Byard, who was one of the big cornerbacks who had 6 interceptions last season. Actually, it was 8. And, no, it was 7. Sorry, folks. Yeah, my numbers mixed up on that one. But nonetheless, Dane Cruikshank gets a big 66-yard touchdown on a fake punt to Kevin Byard. And the Texans are unable to capitalize on what was a productive day with 2 receivers getting over 100 yards, and they still lose 20-17 to the Titans. The offensive line was just god-awful. They let Deshaun Watson get sacked 4 times on the day, and they let Blaine Gabbert look like Joe Montana. Not really, but still, Blaine Gabbert, his 4th different NFL team, and he had 117 yards and a touchdown, and yet he had a 95 passer rating and led the Titans to victory. Marcus Mariota still with numbness in his throwing hand, not able to play. I don't think he's even able to play this week in their big matchup coming up against Jacksonville, which I'll get into a bit. Now, Chargers go into Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills, one of the most humiliating teams ever to grace the football field this season. Here's the thing that really confounds me. They trade Tyrod Taylor to Cleveland. They let A.J. McCarron go to Oakland. You have Nathan Peterman in the first game, who can't even get a cup of coffee, who was so unwatchable, it hurt my eyes just seeing him play. And then you have Josh Allen in his debut this past week. Statistically better, but still not by that much. And the LA Chargers had the biggest day for Melvin Gordon, who had 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. And they end up beating the Bills 31-20. And Vontae Davis leaves at halftime, says, "Goodbye, I'm retired. I had enough of this crap." And only had, I think, 2 tackles on the season so far. And considering LaShawn McCoy had rib issues too, it was just overall, he may not even play this week. So Chris Ivory is going to probably get a lot of carries for them. If you're in fantasy, definitely put him in. But I was very disappointed at Melvin Ingram and at Vontae Davis. Definitely disappointed in him. And Melvin Ingram, though, had 1.5 of the Chargers' 5 sacks on the day. So great performance for him. Dolphins, New York Jets. Sam Darnold coming off that Monday night 48-17 thrashing of the Lions, hoping to extend that good luck against the Dolphins, who are coming off the longest NFL game since the merger at 7 hours, against the Tennessee Titans week 1. Well, Frank Gore was not only making some good runs, he made history this past week, moving up past Hall of Fame ex-New York Jet running back Curtis Martin into the 4th spot on the all-time career rushing yards list. He's only behind Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith. That's some pretty good company right there, if you ask me. Barry Sanders, one of the greatest players to never be in a Super Bowl. Walter Payton, who's the Man of the Year award is named after him. And Emmitt Smith, winner of 3 Super Bowls in 4 years with the Dallas Cowboys. So that's some pretty good company for Frank Gore right there, who did most of his damage when he was with the 49ers. Anyway, the Jets are down 20-0 at the half. And the reason why they were down was the big key interception, 2 interceptions, especially the T.J. McDonald, which, of course, the Dolphins were able to take advantage of, leading to a touchdown. And how about this? Yeah, Kenyon Drake running in for a score. 2 touchdowns by Ryan Tannehill. So they're up 20-0 at the half. The Jets are slowly but surely trying to get back into this game, even with the defense knocking Tannehill down 4 times and causing him to lose a fumble. But what really hurt the Jets was a missed opportunity in the end zone in which Sam Darnold has a pass thrown to Terrell Pryor, and he can't catch the ball. So right there, drop passes like that didn't help. And then the Jets still with a chance to try and get the ball back. It's 3rd and 19. And all the Jets have to do on defense is make a stop. And they can possibly get the ball back, get a touchdown, 2-point conversion, force the game to go to overtime. And what does Ryan Tannehill do in the fourth quarter? He throws a short little dink pass to Frank Gore, who's able to go up 19 yards up the field for the first down. Dolphins able to kill the clock, and they win. The Dolphins win 20-12. Seattle Seahawks, Chicago Bears, Monday Night Football. The Bears. And what was see about this game? Trey Burton gets the first score of the game off a shovel pass from Mitchell Trubisky from the 3-yard line, capping a 96-yard drive. And then what was incredible was Khalil Mack on the day, 1 of 6 sacks on the day, 5 of which were in the first half. Russell Wilson is getting knocked left and right. Let's go later into the game. So the Bears are up 24-10. The Seahawks, it's 17-10. The Seahawks are trying to tie the game. They're up midfield from their own 49-yard line. And what does Russell Wilson do? He throws a pass directly to Prince Amukamara, who goes 51 yards for the game-sealing pick six, his first interception in 3 years since he was a Giant, and his first pick six of his career. They're up 24-10 with 6:37 to go. All right, you think it's over, but it's not over. Will Dissly, the rookie tight end, who is probably one of the best tight ends in the league, really, besides Travis Kelce this year, gets a touchdown to bring the Seahawks within the score. It's 24-17. Seahawks go for the onside kick, recovered by the Bears. They're able to run out the clock. Bears win 24-17. Giants go into Dallas. Embarrassing performance, to say the least. Eli Manning getting knocked around 6 times on the day. Ezekiel Elliott had a much better productive day than his counterpart from the Giants, Saquon Barkley, going 78 yards with a touchdown on the day. And the Giants lose to the Cowboys 20-13. And what was really embarrassing to begin with was the one-on-one assignment that Janoris Jenkins had on Tavon Austin, and he allows Tavon to get a big 64-yard touchdown to start that game off. Yikes. Lions, 49ers. The Lions are actually down 30-13 at this point late in the game. Garoppolo really had a great start in the first half. A 4-yard to Bourne in the second quarter, and 11-yard to Garrett Chelik. And then 11 yards to Garrett Chelik in the third. They're up 30-13, and Matthew Stafford brings up 2 fourth quarter touchdown passes to bring them within 30-27. And here's the kicker, and this is the craziest thing. It's 3rd and 2 midfield. Garoppolo tries to throw a quick out pass to Matt Breida, and then what does Matt Walker do for the Lions? He steps in, gets the interception, takes the ball to the San Francisco 6. You would think the Lions would have a chance to possibly not only tie the game, but possibly win, get their first win in the season. Well, that was all well and good, but unfortunately, Quandre Diggs messed up that opportunity, getting called for defensive holding on George Kittle on the other side of the field. So the 49ers got a reprieve. First down, 49ers run out the clock. They win 30-27. The woes continue for the Detroit Lions. For the 49ers, they at least get a win from last week. Raiders, Broncos. In the first half, the Raiders really were in sync. They were. If you look at the pass, the touch, some of the plays that Amari Cooper had this